Taurus, people are watching you. It's not your imagination, it's real. And the most disturbing thing isn't that they're watching, it's what they're seeing. They're seeing something in you that you can't yet see in yourself. Something that's growing, forming, taking shape inside you right now. And while you doubt, while you question, while you continue to see yourself as you always have, they already know. They've already realized what you're becoming. And that changes everything. Take a deep breath with me now, because what I'm about to reveal will shake up how you see yourself. It will shatter that image you have of yourself, which, to be quite honest, is long outdated. You still see yourself in that old way. You still identify with who you were 1, 2, 3 years ago. But Taurus, you are no longer that person, and everyone around you has already noticed it, except you. And do you know why you don't realize it? Because you're stuck in the rearview mirror. You're constantly looking back, validating who you are by what you've already been, by your past failures, by your old mistakes. But while you define yourself by the past, the future has already arrived. It's not coming. It's already here, inside you, pulsating, growing, manifesting itself in every decision you make without realizing that they are different decisions from the ones you made before. You've changed, you've evolved, you've become a different person, and you continue pretending to be the same. Let me ask you a direct question. The conversations that once made sense now seem empty. The people you thought were important now tire you just thinking about seeing them. The goals you pursued with such certainty now seem small, irrelevant, as if you've grown up without realizing it, and that old life has become too cramped for you. And here's the truth no one told you. You're undergoing metamorphosis, and metamorphosis isn't comfortable. It's not beautiful. It's not that inspiring transformation you see on social media. It's messy. It's confusing. It's feeling lost in your own skin because you're no longer who you were, but you don't yet fully know who you're becoming. It's that in-between stage where you don't belong anywhere, and that's scary, very scary. But Taurus, this fear you're feeling, it's a sign that you're on the right path, because what's being born within you is great, greater than you ever imagined possible, greater than you allowed yourself to desire. And the only reason you still can't see it clearly is because you continue to measure your worth by old rules, by metrics that no longer serve you. You're trying to fit into a definition of success, of happiness, of purpose that isn't yours, that never was yours, that you borrowed from others and now carry as if it were a universal truth. Now pay attention, because this is where things get serious. The people around you, some who love you, others not so much, have already seen what's happening to you. They noticed before you did. And you know what's even crazier? Some are genuinely, silently rooting for you. They're waiting for you to wake up and embrace this new version of yourself. But others are praying that you don't notice. They're hoping you stay asleep, stay small, stay safe and predictable. Because when you fully awaken, when you embrace who you're becoming, you're going to be unsettling, you're going to destabilize, you're going to make others question their own choices. And here's what you need to understand. This isn't about them. It never was. It's about you finally stopping sabotaging yourself, stopping belittling yourself, stopping doubting every impulse, every desire, every dream that arises within you, because you do this, Taurus. You're a master at clipping your own wings before you even try to fly. You invent 1,000 rational reasons why it won't work, why it's not the right time, why you're not capable. And meanwhile, the life you could be living waits on the other side of your fear. So let me tell you what they already know about you. They know you're becoming impossible to control, that you're starting to question things you previously accepted blindly, that you're developing an emotional backbone that didn't exist before. They've noticed you no longer swallow just anything, that you no longer accept disrespect disguised as a joke, that you're no longer content with crumbs when you know you deserve the whole feast, and that That changes the dynamic of everything, because you see, you were always the reliable person, the rock, the one who doesn't budge, who endures everything, who supports everyone. And you were proud of that. You identified with that role, but little by little you began to realize something. You were being a rock, yes, but not in the sense of strength, in the sense of dead weight. People didn't respect you for your stability. They leaned on you because they knew you would never say no, never demand anything, never move. And that's not strength, that's permission to be used. But something changed. Something inside you said, enough is enough. And from that moment, maybe you don't even remember exactly when it was, you began to transform. You started setting boundaries. You started saying no without feeling guilty. You started prioritizing yourself without apologizing. And people noticed. They felt the change. And now they're reacting, some with admiration, others with anger disguised as concern. And you're still processing. You're still trying to understand who this new version of you is that doesn't accept less than you deserve. Now I'm going to reveal something that will make profound sense. You are becoming the person you were always afraid to be. That version of you that is free, that is authentic, that doesn't perform to please, that doesn't conform to others' expectations. That simply exists in its truth, without excuses, without explanations. And that person? They are powerful. They are intimidating. They are everything you always wanted to be but were afraid to allow yourself to be. And do you know why you were afraid? Because freedom has a price. Authenticity has a price. And the price is loneliness. Not the sad, empty loneliness, but that sacred loneliness of someone who no longer belongs to the commonplace, of someone who is no longer content with superficial conversations, of someone who needs depth, truth, real connections, or prefers to be alone. And that's scary, because you were raised to believe that being alone is failure. That if you don't have a lot of people around you, something is wrong with you. But the truth is the opposite. When you finally become who you really are, most people drift away, and only the true ones remain. So answer me this. Are you ready to lose the false versions of your life to gain the true version? Are you ready to trade quantity for quality? Are you ready to be misunderstood by those who never had the courage to be true to themselves? Because that's the choice before you now. Either you go back to who you were, safe, predictable, accepted, or you embrace who you are becoming, free, authentic, possibly alone for a while. And here's what I need you to understand about this being alone for a while. It's temporary, but necessary. You need this period of emptiness to rebuild, to reorganize, to discover who you are when you're not performing for anyone, when you're not proving anything, when you're not trying to fit in. This emptiness is not punishment, it's cleansing. It's the universe making space for what truly belongs in your life. And there's something else they already know about you. You're developing a level of discernment you didn't have before. You're seeing through the masks. You're perceiving the intentions behind the pretty words. You're sensing when someone is lying, when someone is using you, when someone is only there for what you can offer. And this discernment, it's a superpower, but it's also a curse. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you realize how things really are, you can no longer pretend you don't know. And that creates a problem, because you're going to have to make decisions. Decisions about relationships that should have ended a long time ago. About jobs that drain your soul. About situations you maintain only because you're afraid of the emptiness that will remain. And these decisions will hurt. They will seem impossible. They will make you question whether it's worth it. But Taurus, if you don't make these decisions now, if you continue carrying dead weight just because you're afraid to let go, you'll stay stuck. And 5 years will pass, and you'll look in the mirror and not recognize who's looking back. Let me give you a harsh truth. You can't transform yourself and keep everything the same. It doesn't work that way. Transformation requires sacrifice. It requires you to let go, to destroy what no longer serves you, even if it was important once, to disappoint people who expect you to remain who you've always been. And you will feel guilty, you will feel selfish, you will feel cruel, but it's none of that. It's you finally putting your own life first. And that's not selfishness, it's survival. Now look at what's happening to you right now. You're reading these words, and something inside you is screaming, yes, that's it. Something is stirring, something is waking up. And at the same time, another part of you is resisting. It's trying to rationalize, minimize, find reasons to dismiss everything that's being said here. And this resistance, it's not healthy skepticism. It's fear disguised as rationality. It's you trying to protect yourself from the responsibility that comes with this awareness. Because once you admit that all of this is true, that you really are changing, that people have really noticed, that you are really about to become something greater, you can no longer use ignorance as an excuse. You can no longer pretend you don't know what you need to do. You can no longer postpone difficult decisions. And that's scary, very scary, because it's easier to remain in doubt than to take responsibility for your own life. But Taurus, listen to me. The time for doubt is over. You already know what you need to do. You've known for a long time. You were just waiting for someone to give you permission, waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. And here is your permission. You can, you must, you need to become who you are fighting to be born within you. Not because someone told you to, but because you will implode if you continue to repress it. And you know what's most beautiful about all this? When you finally stop resisting, when you finally surrender to transformation, everything becomes easier. Not in the sense that the problems disappear, but in the sense that you stop fighting against yourself. You stop wasting energy trying to be someone you're not. You stop forcing yourself to fit into places that weren't made for you. And suddenly you have all that energy available, all that strength, all that power that was wasted on self-sabotage is now free to build the life you truly want. And here's something you need to hear. You're not going to please everyone. Impossible. When you become who you truly are, some people will love you more deeply than ever before, and others will hate you. They'll judge, they'll talk, they'll create narratives about you that have nothing to do with the truth. And you'll have to learn to live with that. You'll have to develop a thick skin. You'll have to stop explaining yourself. Because the more you explain yourself, the more power you give to those who don't deserve to have an opinion about your life. And there's something else they already know about you. You're becoming dangerous, not in a physical sense, but dangerous to the status quo, to mediocre comfort, to the collective lies that everyone accepts without question. You're starting to ask questions. You're starting to challenge. You're starting to live in a way that exposes how everyone else is just surviving. And that bothers them. It bothers them deeply, because you become a mirror, and nobody likes being forced to look at their own cowardly choices. So what will happen from now on? You'll have to make a conscious choice every day. Wake up and decide, will I be who I truly am, or will I go back to the mask? Will I honor this transformation, or will I pretend it's not happening? Will I trust the process, or will I try to control every detail and end up paralyzed? And some days you'll choose right, other days not. And that's okay. Transformation isn't linear. It's messy. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But as long as the overall direction is forward, you're on the right track. And let me give you something practical now. When you feel that urge to go back to the old, the familiar, the safe, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, is this choice bringing me closer to who I want to be or pushing me further away? Is it fueling my growth or my fear? And be honest in your answer, because you're good at lying to yourself, at disguising cowardice as prudence, at calling stagnation stability. But you know the difference, and it's time to stop fooling yourself. There's one last crucial thing I need to tell you. This process of becoming who you truly are, it doesn't have an expiration date. It's not something you do and that's it, it's over. It's a lifelong commitment to truth, to your truth. And there will be times when you'll get tired. You'll want to give up. You'll look at other people's lives and think they seem easier, but they're not. They're just different. And you weren't made for easy. You were made for real, for profound, for true. And that has a cost. But it also has a reward that doesn't exist anywhere else. And do you know what that reward is? Peace. Not that superficial peace of someone who avoids conflict, but that deep peace of someone who is no longer at war with themselves, of someone who doesn't wake up every day having to decide which mask to wear, of someone who doesn't go to sleep with that weight on their chest of living a lie. Do you want to know what that peace is like? It's looking in the mirror and recognizing who is there. It's making decisions without needing to consult 10 people first. It's saying no and feeling relief instead of guilt. It's existing without apologizing for taking up space. But there's one obstacle you haven't completely overcome yet, and that obstacle has a name: the need for approval. Taurus, you still care too much about what others think. You say you don't care, you swear you don't care. But when you're about to do something important, the first thing that comes to your mind is, what will they think? How will they react? Will they support me or criticize me? And while you live as a hostage to these questions, you are not free. You are a prisoner of other people's opinions. And here's what you need to understand once and for all. People will judge you anyway. If you stay small, they'll say you lack ambition. If you grow, they'll say you've changed, that you've become arrogant. If you're too kind, they'll say you're weak. If you set boundaries, they'll say you've become cold. So since they're going to talk anyway, why not do what you really want? Why not live according to what you feel is right, instead of trying to please a jury that will never be satisfied? And there's another heavy truth here. Some of the people watching you change don't want to protect